Miss G here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be physically able to do the experiment with you this week, but I wanted to make sure that you were still able to do it. So today I'm going to show you how to pull crystals out of a diaper. And these crystals, like I mentioned in my presentation, are super absorbent. So we're going to test the properties of these once we take them out of this diaper. So you're going to get one disposable absorbent diaper, one piece of black construction paper, one cup. You're going to be able to pick one color of food coloring, and you're going to get 2 drops of that food coloring. You're going to get a spoon, and you're going to get a pair of scissors. And somebody else will come around with water and salt later on in the experiment. So what you want to do is use your scissors to poke a hole in the top layer. It's a lining on top of the cotton in the diaper. And you want to rip that open, straight down the middle. So once you rip that open, you want to remove all the cotton that's in the way, and there's going to be another small layer. And if you feel this layer, you'll be able to feel it's kind of bumpy because there's crystals underneath this layer. So if you need to, you can use scissors, or you can just use your fingers to kind of pull at that layer. And once you open that layer up, you'll see another layer of what's going to be your crystals. And these crystals are called sodium polyacrylate. And that's what they put in the bottom of diapers to absorb all the water. So these are the crystals here. And once you open that layer, you want to turn your diaper over onto the black paper, and you want to rub out all those crystals. There should be quite a bit of those. So you want to rub all those out on this piece of black construction paper. Get as much as you can off of that layer. Once you do that, you want to neatly take your piece of black construction paper and gather all of your crystals into a nice neat formation. And then you want to pour your crystals into your cup. Try to get as much of it off of the paper as possible. So once you have your crystals or your sodium polyacrylate from your diaper, somebody will come around with a gallon of water, and you want to have them pour some of the water into your cup. Then you'll pick one color of food coloring, and you'll put 2 drops in. Then you will take your spoon, and you'll mix it all up. And you keep mixing for a while, and eventually you'll start to notice a difference. It'll go from a liquid to something else that's kind of like a gel. It may take a few minutes for it to change form. So after you mix it for a few minutes, you'll start to notice that the liquid becomes a gel-like substance, and eventually it will get really, really dry. And this is because the crystals, or the sodium polyacrylate in the diaper, absorb all the water so that a diaper can function and it does not get super soaked when a baby is wearing a diaper. So you'll start to notice that the crystals will gradually absorb all the water that's in this mixture. So you can play around with this, you can take it out, you can touch it, just don't eat it. And these crystals can hold up to 100 drops of water, so they are super absorbent. So you can play around with this for, I'd say, about 5 to 10 minutes before you move on to the next part of the experiment. So after you finish playing with the crystals, somebody will come around with salt. You might be wondering what the salt is going to do to the crystals. Well, the salt will draw the water out of the crystals. So let's see what happens when we put the salt in. And put a large sizing of salt on your crystals. And if you want to save some of this to take home, make sure you take a portion out of the cup and put it in a Ziploc bag before you put the salt in. So we're going to mix this salt in and see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, after a few minutes of mixing and adding some salt in, our jelly-like substance is no longer very jelly. It's more like a liquid because the salt drew the water back out of the crystals. So now it's back to its liquidy state. So this is an example, like I mentioned in the lesson, of osmosis. So in the lesson I mentioned this diffusion and osmosis. And diffusion is the movement of anything else but water. Osmosis, on the other hand, is the movement of water into or out of a substance. So this is an example of osmosis. I hope that you have fun doing this experiment, and I can't wait to hear all about it when I get back.